So let's take an existing template for auto-indexing and create a plaintiff and defendant table for the exhibits and the witnesses. The first thing we'll do is go into the system files, index templates, and then we'll use the court sample index. You can do this with both tables, the depot and the court one. This is just one example. If you don't have the sample court index, go to exceptional extras, restore extras, make sure keep case structure is checked, and you will see that sample court index there. That will just restore that file. All these files are well worth learning how to use, so I recommend that sometime you take some time and go through those and figure out what they do, because Excel writers are fabulous. So take sample court index. First thing we're going to do is I suggest if you want to make any changes to anything, you do it here, so that when we copy, all of them are done. So, for here, I like this to be offered and not identified. So if I make that change now, then I won't have to do it later. I'm also going to put in some other things to show you how you can get the headers on there so you don't have to type anything in later. You can just simply have everything build and make a couple conflict resolution choices. So we'll take this one, and the first thing we're going to do is copy the table. You can't see my cursor really, but it's right here. And we are going to edit table, copy it, and we're going to Control V and stick it right down there. And we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to edit table, copy it, and we are once again going to stick it right down there. So first thing about tables and indexing, everything is assigned. So this is index heading on A, and since we copied it, we also have an index heading on A down here. You can't have two index heading on with the same A, B, C through Z, or 0 through 9. So I'm going to change this, and I want it to be, I'll have to take the real codes back off, and I'm going to do an edit, insert, we'll look for index heading on, and I am going to type AB. So you didn't see what I did, but by doing that I turned on index heading on B, and then I need to get rid of the A. So now I have an A and a B, and if you remember from before, you can print those out and then underneath the columns put what they are so you don't forget. So we have A 1 2 3 and B 1 2 3. The other thing we're going to do is, if we do this right now, I won't have to do it when the table builds. It'll already always be exactly how I want it. And then I'm going to add a conflict. So you need a caret. And now when the table builds, I can just pick one or two, and then I'll have exactly what I want. You can also backspace that and bring it back up to where they actually are tight, like such, or you can leave it the way it is. So you can play with the tables a little bit, and I'm down here going to do the same thing, but with a defendant. Okay. So the idea is that the work is done for you by the time you get done. For the exhibits, the first thing I recommend is, if you have offered more than once on a table, you're going to get like page 8, 9, as we discussed. You can have double offering or pages populated in there, so if they're offered twice, it'll show up each time. So it's going to need a little more space so that both those numbers fit on there. You can put a little X in the boxes so you can see where everything is going to fit by the end. So you can take that and do that, or you can simply pull the X in like that. So that way, if you had page as an example to give you a visual, it'll fit. Now if your page numbers are bigger and you typically have transcripts with more pages to them, I'd suggest you give yourself a little more space. And so by putting those in there, just kind of gives you a visual. We're going to copy this table as well. And the first thing we're going to copy, or we're going to do, I apologize, is add some extra. I do not want to end up behind this single space off. The table needs to end with a continuation paragraph or a new line paragraph. It has to be underneath the last table you create, otherwise it'll be a disaster. So I'm going to put my stuff up here and just copy it. I am a play it safe kind of person, so then I'm going to copy the table. And I do want to make sure I still have plenty of under here, so edit table, copy, I'm going to stick it right there, Control V. We'll pull this up. Let's make sure that underline's turned off. Under here, we're still above the single space. Turn our bold back on. I think we lost some underlining. And once again, I'll do the same thing where I'll create a Control I and do a conflict resolution. So that each time all you have to do is choose one. It's already there. And then those are the things that, for me, I typically forget. So then when you print them out, you realize you've forgotten to put the title of a column on it. So if everything's built in flashing blue, I usually remember. And there you have it. It was easy just to adjust that. Now the next thing we need to do is, once again, we can't have two B's because we made the one up above a B. So here we are going to do an edit, insert, format symbol, go down to index, heading on, and let's make it, I'm going to make it a 1. You can make these whatever you want them to be. They just can't duplicate. You can't have heading on and have two of the same A, B, C. They all have to be something different. So as you see down here, my options are this. I'm going to make it 1. So I like my exhibits to be is 1 and 2. Then this table also has, because it has a description, it gets another index format symbol. So we need the 1 to match. So we are going to edit, insert, format symbol, and this time we just want to index on, not the heading, just index on. Once again, we have our choices. It needs to be 1 so that it matches. So we have a 1 heading on with a 1 for the description. And then down here we had a B because we copied it. So we need to once again change that to something different. I'm going to make it a 2. So it's edit, insert, format symbol. This is a heading on, 2. So I typed a 2 after I turned the heading on. I'll erase that. The other thing we're going to need to do is sort alpha. So if you have A and B's, so we're going to edit, insert, format symbol, sort, alpha exhibit. So now whether they are ABC or numbers, they should sort. In here we have, since we copied it and cheated, we have our heading on B, and it needs to be 2 because, or our index on, because our heading on was, so it's edit, insert, format symbol, and this is just index on. I typed a 2, giving me an index on 2. So we have a 1 with a 1, 1, 1, 2 with a 2. And that's it. Now you have a table that has both plaintiff and defendant so that you can have them go into their own tables.